Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is another clan war game, and it's 3v3 versus, well, it's the same matchup as the 1v1 I uploaded just before this. We have Jop, I think, versus SA. So I've remembered in the interim that SA means somewhat active. You can see why I forgot what that meant. Not exactly an inspiring clan name there. Jop, I don't know. Not really sure. I've noticed the spawns on this map are strange. You spawn outside of the 4 mexes. Usually you spawn like in the middle. But no, you spawn outside of them. For whatever reason, the map is called Zapliel's Flooded. 10 by 10. So I guess there's another, perhaps more well-known map called Zapliel's, which I also have not heard of. I had to download it to watch this replay. But it looks like a map that many people would not like because we have this big river in the middle, which is going to make hover extremely powerful. And speaking of hover, we have one Cybran in this game right now, and we have 5 Seraphim. It's one thing, people think Seraphim is weak, or perhaps people say Seraphim is weak. In these sort of team games, I will most often see people choosing Seraphim and Cybran. I think those are the 2 most common choices in these sort of high level team games, in sort of 2v2s, 3v3s, and even 4v4s. So I've slowed it down because we have 6 players to focus on. We have 6 top players to focus on. So we have, let's start at the top, introduce some people. We have Isekai-chan. This is Farms. We have Yudi in the back slot, Farms in the front, and over here on the side we have Petric. Now that's a pretty damn strong team. However, on the bottom team playing the front, we have Epic Adjux. We have Nexus in the back slot, and on the side we have Blodir. So again, extremely strong players. I wouldn't be too, you know, you see all these ratings and you see Nexus and Blodir have the highest rating. I sort of view most of these players as very similar in strength, honestly. I think these are all 6 of the absolute best players on FAF in the last few years, for sure. So this should be an interesting game. Now, one thing about this map, we have a couple of bases start unoccupied over here. So we have them here. Blodir's already moving across the water. There's some interesting civilian structure here. Haven't seen that before. So Blodir is walking across, and you see here's the 2 bases. Yudi, right on cue, is dropping here because you can see the only entrance, if you were to walk, is from Blodir's side. So he drops the plateau here and is immediately building the hydrocarbon. I guess that's what he needs. He has not too many pigeons at home. Already upgrading 2 mass extractors before he's built his T1 mass extractors. That is classic Yudi. So the Yudi is moving south. Farms moving towards the middle. Perhaps he's going to be moving across towards Adjux's base. Adjux is moving to the right, and Nexus has done the same thing as Yudi, more or less, dropping on this plateau, although prioritizing Nexus over the hydrocarbon. Yudi is at the top of the scoreboard, and Nexus is at the bottom. This is why Yudi is at the top of the scoreboard. If you start making early mexes, you probably have 0 resources in your bank, power and mass, So you'll probably be at the top of the scoreboard. I honestly find that people who stall energy at the start go to the top. Guess they're just using everything they can use. So we have full Seraphim on the bottom. Everyone is Seraphim. On the top, Yudi is the Cybran, and the other two players are Sarah. And we already see the Phobo coming out from Mr. Farms. And also Navy starting for both these players. On the top side, on the bottom, I don't see any naval factories. Nexus instructs his team to snag inties. Rogue fighters landing in enemy territory will be destroyed with extreme prejudice. Alright, let's go to -1. Looks like a drop coming from Petric with a single engineer. Oh yeah, here's the real purpose of the drop, it seems to be. Dropping this plateau, yeah, I guess you can't walk up there. 2 mexes there. Blodir still hasn't taken his 2. And now, Blodir's going to find himself in a face-off with Yudi, the air player. And Farms is in the middle with Apollo's ACU. Getting, I expect, the T2 upgrade. Nexus now is here to help Adjux, who has not gone to the middle. He's gone to the side. Petric has not walked up onto the land yet. Has no base here. He is making the T2 upgrade as well. Same as Farms. Blodir, being very aggressive, has almost 5 factories done now. Getting a PD. And he's going to fight hard for this. And he's only going to have 1 AC to face. So it's very doable for him to take control here. Now Yudi is being quite annoying, getting some spam up on the left that's going to come down here. And he could even place perhaps some Medusa around the cliffs and stuff to be extra annoying. Some units dropped across. A radar going up in a location it's unlikely to be killed. Petric pulling out all the tricks. And Yudi finds himself between an ACU and a PD and quickly gets out of range of that PD before he loses too much HP. And he will take some decent shots from Blodir's ACU. T2 air is finished for Mr. Nexus. He has 3 T2 mexes as well. Only 2 mexes for Yudi, but he's far ahead on his PJ. And now Blodir is going to take quite a bit of damage, and especially if he doesn't dodge the artillery. He's dodging quite well, and Yudi steps back into 1 PD. Will he reach? Oh, he nearly walked into range of both of those PDs, and that's quite good for Yudi. Now he had a disadvantage in HP. Now he has the advantage. Blodir is going to have a very tough time moving out of this location or even securing it particularly. Now he does have a nice bed of factories here. We got 7.5 factories and PDs. Now assuming he can fund those, which he can, he should be able to produce enough units here. Unless Mr. Farms ACU appears. Where is he? Oh, he's still making the T2 upgrade. Well, we're at -1, so we won't hold that against him. But I should note that Petric is finished his, and I'm sure he started later. So Farms ACU has not entered the game yet, which is... You can see it is quite a big deal considering how much ACU action has been going on the right and the left. Farms has sort of been idle in the middle, so he's going to have to make his presence known very soon. His upgrade is finished. Blodir now with the bombers looking to help him. He really... Somebody needs to take this these mexes, these free mexes. There's also reclaim up here. A grand total of about 50 reclaim. That should pay for the building of the 2 mass extractors. So 1 P-gen, 2 P-gens for Yudi, and he's going to T3R already. This is not going to work for Petric. Trying to build a PD, he will be leaving right about now. Eats some artillery fire on the way out, as well as the gun ACU fire from Adjux, who got some assistance from Nexus to make that. But it must be noted that there is no navy whatsoever from the bottom team. And we have here 4 naval factories, some with assistance. There are water mexes here, or mexes in the water. Quite a few of them. And now the self-proclaimed sex god here, that's what he's named himself, has... Oh, he just arrived and just reclaimed the only naval factory that the bottom team had. That can't be a good feeling for Adjux. And this is a big problem. Now you see the bottom team has more map control. Still, he cannot take these mexes. Still hasn't taken the core mexes here, or even any of the mexes. But they are denied from the top team, so that's something. Though he really should be able to get some of these pretty soon. Blodir's retreating back to the water now on low HP. Oh, Petric under attack from torpedo bombers. And he's very low, under 3000 HP now. And where is his teammates' air? Well, Yudi is moving to T3 air, so he has no air production whatsoever. And there's only 1 Inti. Oh, he's gonna get to the land, isn't he? Under 2000 HP. And he makes landfall. What is this cliff he just walked up? Clearly a proficient climber. Oh, where's the gunships? Or just a couple of gunships, especially Seraphim ones, may have killed Petric and essentially won the game. I think off the back of that, it would be extremely difficult to imagine these 2 players coming back, driving lost Petric. If any one of these players died, it would be catastrophic. Snipes. Well, I'm assuming it's not on full share. Oh, never mind. It is full share. However, it still would be a huge loss to lose 1 ACU and all that player's APM. Yudi asks for mass as he's upgrading multiple mexes and finishing his T3P gen. What about Nexus? He's not at T3R yet. He's 80% there, so he'll have to get to T3R, build his T3P gen, and only then will he be able to produce those T3R units. So he is far behind Yudi. Still, now Blodir takes his expansion maxes. He has control of this area. He can defend against both players' units, Yudi and Farms, by the looks of it. Farms doesn't have too many going. He's focusing on Yenzins and Phobos and frigates. And he definitely has enough frigates here to deal with all this hover from Adjux. ACU is under the water. It has to be said that the ACU has not done very much. Farms ACU is really in not that valuable, I would say. Adjux now with the gun is sort of walking around. He doesn't look sure of where he should be. It's an interesting place to be with your gun ACU. But he kills a Phobo. And we'll rebuild the mechs. Superior map control for the bottom team. They have this expansion. they have this. However, well, they actually also have some underwater mexes. Blodir does have these. Blodir, speaking of, is making the T2 upgrade. Very popular upgrade. Very popular upgrade. T3 Pigeon still not finished, and the strap bomber from Yudi has been completed. There's already a shield and a SAM launcher from Nexus. This is what you do when you're behind on air. Do not let your power die to strap bomber, then you will never win air. So he's well protected, but his teammates are not well protected versus the strap bomber. We're at 11 minutes now, and the strat is coming for Nexus. Mex is up here. Oh, that's an upgrading factory going to an HQ. Left on 750 HP. 2 T2 Mexes go down. And the wreck was somewhat damaged as well. Strap bomber turns and targets another T2 mass extractor. This time it is Adjux's, and there it goes. And another. Oh, this one's going into the base and takes out 2 more extractors, and the strap bomber actually is killed by the inties, and perhaps an ASF got in there as well. Surely there had to be an ASF there to do that much damage that fast. Blodir's torps are not going to allow him to get into the water. Blodir, there's no naval production from the bottom team. Farms has now even stopped his. Why does Farms have no T2 Mexes? I wonder, did they die? Well, on the left here, Blodir clears out this whole expansion for Yudi, which is quite good for him. Giving him more control, taking more map control, but still the Navy. Nobody is making Navy on the bottom team. Adjux has nowhere to make it. Nexus has nowhere to make it. Now this is the position where the naval production ought to be, as you can see for the top team. Oh, look at this. Cyber T2 Navy from Petric. He must have gotten some cyber technology from his teammate Yudi. And now T2 Navy is under construction for the top team. The first Salem will be out very shortly. Another strap bomber comes out for Yudi, still with the air control, although it's reasonably close. And what's he kill? He hits the HQ, he hits TMD, PD, and maybe anti-air? Certainly T2 PD and a TMD. Oh, now I see why he's targeted the TMD. Finally, Firearms ACU might actually achieve something. Now that he has T2 gun and the TAC pack, and he can surely hit everything on the map with that TAC pack. Adjux has moved back to his base, and Petric thought perhaps he could make some inroads with this T2 and gun commander, but Adjux reappears with his own gun commander to defend against that. Now some defenses have been cleared out, but still Petric can't get past his ACU. He has no land support, he has no Phobos with him, or Yenzines. Years of 1, but is not interested in helping him. Farms now starts launching the TMLs. There is a TMD here. I wonder will it protect correctly? Oh, what's going on here? Is he going for the ACU? I'm not sure what happened there. It looked like the missile just disappeared. Certainly didn't hit the mechs or the ACU. And I didn't see where it did hit. And that's dead. P-Gen on the other side, we have the strap bomber now has 6,200 kills. And we can see some of the destruction is wrought. Here is a decal. There was a P-Gen here. These mexes have been killed. And perhaps there was a bomb dropped in here. Yeah, it definitely looks like it. A couple of drops here. That looks like a T2 support factory was taken out. And the strat now has... Oh, it looks like we've also missed an air fight. Because there are not too many ASFs left for Nexus. He certainly had more than 2, and there's a lot of veterancy on many of Yudi's ASFs. Would be great to use some air staging for them because most of them are quite damaged. 7,100. Goes another couple of mexes on this side of the map, and you can see that Yudi is really doing extremely well with his strap bombers. But there's still, and because Yudi has the air control, there's still no answer to the Navy. I mean, there's not even that much Navy. But the difficulty in getting back into the naval game is huge because of the small area where you can actually build. And the size of the map means that, of course, frigates can just go from one end of the map to the other extremely quickly, being some of the fastest units. Navy being much faster than land. Of course, not as fast as air. And the strap bomber maybe could have got another drop there on the PJs. We did take out more mexes. Oh god, there's a Salem walking into Blodir's base as it gets strap bombed. This is terrible. And there's no shields whatsoever. There's a couple of T1 anti-airs. Should do something, but god damn, look at the damage. 9,500 mass killed. 2 veterancy levels. Nexus really wants to get rid of this. He has to kill this bomber. And ideally he has to win air. Yudi, is he going for the fight? Because this looks very even. And I think Nexus got a far better first engagement there. And can he follow it up? Yeah, I think Nexus surely wins this. Yudi does not even have a chance to try and run away at this point. And there goes air control for the top team. Now perhaps there's a way for the bottom team to get some navy, and now you can see the mechs in the water have all changed to the top team's colors. It's actually Flax here trying to help out, do some damage on the ASFs. Somewhat unsuccessfully. Now this Salem will be killed by the hover and of Blodir. There wasn't really much left to kill here anyway, so perhaps not the best use of that Salem, really. Everything had basically been strap bombed. Still no shields though. Do we have a shield from Adjux? Nope. Shields are really the best way to defend against those strap bombers when you don't have any access to T3 anti-air. T2 anti-air will also kill them, T1 anti-air, but they won't stop the damage being done before they're killed. Only a shield can really do that. But being that all the bottom team are Seraphim, those T2 shields are actually quite pricey. If they had other factions, it would be a bit cheaper to protect themselves. More TMLs flying. We have 23 kills on this ACU. I think most of them are not with the TAC pack. But let's take a look at the range. Yep, pretty much everything is available as a target, barring things blocked by the terrain. For example, this mech is likely not going to be TML'd from this direction, nor this one. Yudi says brutal. Oh. Oh no. Brutal indeed. I love that Yudi said brutal and a ping. Gave a ping. a heads up before he did it. Thank you for that, Yudi. 85% T3 mass extractor just gets strap bombed, and Farms, who was sitting pretty on 16,000 HP, is now down to half of that, as Nexus is using his air control to go for a snipe on this ACU. This very dangerous ACU with the tac pack, T2 and gun. He's down under 6,000 HP, but he is now out of the water. But here come the Yenzines after him. Are they targeting the ACU? No, they're not. They're targeting other Yenzines. Even if they were targeting the ACU, I do not think they would be capable of killing him. He's in this nasty bump in the rocks, and it's difficult to get shots in on him there. And still on 6,000 HP, it's not trivial to snipe an ACU that with that much HP. Nexus now has, well, he's lost these mexes as well. He has 2 T3 P-gens. Yudi has 2 as well, starts his 3rd. An upgrade from Farms. He's gotten rid of the tac pack, which means he is going to make the nano. He's afraid of being sniped. On the top side, Adjux is in such a horrible situation here. He does have amazing shields from the Seraphim shields, but it's up against T2 Navy, and he has no Navy of himself, of his own. He needs quite a bit of hover to attack these ships here. Now, one thing they don't have is any... Oh wait, another airfight, and it looks like Nexus will win this one again, even after all of the torpedo bombing, which is quite impressive, and even fighting over 2 cruisers. Now, they are Cybran, but since Cybran cruisers have gotten a buff in their anti-air, it flies much faster. That is still an impressive victory from Nexus, but we have to look at the long-term prospects. Let's take a look at the airbase. We have a 5th T3 air factory going up with 3 P-gens. Over Nexus base, we have only 3 factories and about 2 and less than a half P-gens. So that doesn't bode well for the future, and that wasn't such a dominating win that Nexus can count on sitting on that victory for a while. Yudi will catch up very quickly. Blodir's base has really been under so much pressure. He can't maintain his eco. He has to continually rebuild it. If we look on the other side, Petric has a T3 mechs. He has less map control, so he has to move to T3 mechs faster, but it's really not what you want to see for the bottom team. They still have no naval production whatsoever, and eventually the number of ships here will grow. There'll be 3 here, soon there'll be 3 here, 4 here, and eventually the map control advantage will completely disappear. This base can be killed by T2 Navy, much of this can be killed, this front here can be killed by T2 Navy, and with the support of Farms in the front with Hover Flag, his ACU, Phobos, Yenzines, and a few frigates, naval control should win this game. And on top of that, Yudi has a very impressive airbase, which should maintain air control for them for the foreseeable future. So the bottom team really got themselves in a nasty position. There you see the shield dropping. And these ones still going. Now these shields will defend against the Navy, but the Navy will just move elsewhere to where there are fewer shields. there are quite a few Yenzines moving for Adjux, and he can get some kills on these T2 naval ships. But ultimately, unless they have their own T2 navy to fight with, they are very unlikely to be able to do this. Yudi now making T3 gunships. Now this sailor is looking crowded. Will he escape? He's pretty quick. Faster than the Yenzine. Farm's looking very secure with T2 gun and cruisers and flak standing right behind him. And this is full hover wars. Maybe... well... maybe. Maybe Blodir could have attacked in this direction with his land towards the base, which is defended really only by air units, and well, I guess the units coming out of the base could be turned left, but you know, there's opportunity. But now it looks like the gunships are going to get some easy kills in the outsides of the map where there aren't defenses. Nexus has some ASF, but looks to be a losing number to Yudi's count. And Yudi even getting sent mass now by his front player. Adjux has a very nice looking base, but he cannot produce the units that he really needs to produce. And those units are destroyers. Seraphim destroyers would be just... it's exactly what's needed here. It's hover, it's frigates, it's cyber and T2 navy. Seraphim destroyers, what's needed, but it is just not happening. Nexus has the idea, and he's trying to make a naval factory. I think they need all this build power and more, making navy from now on to really have a chance. And you can see how it's just gets more and more claustrophobic for the bottom team, as they just cannot... I mean, Adjux can't see outside of his base. Petric is free to make economy as he just stands his T2 ships in the water. And gradually, mexes disappear all across the map as they get slowly ground down. And how do you ever engage with this force without ships? It's not really possible. Nexus making the longest trek of any land units I've seen. They have to come the whole way down here. You really should use them against this location. But it seems like all the focus is right here, and really all that's happening is a continuous build up of reclaim directly on a very powerful commander that cannot be killed by anything the bottom team has. So continually engaging here. Blodir has just constantly been fighting here, fighting against the most powerful army that the top team has. Doesn't... well, it's not working, that's for sure. Just because something doesn't work doesn't mean it's not the right idea, but I'm not sure it is the right idea either. Yudi now says, okay, give mass. That's ominous. If the bottom team could hear that, I think they might guess what's coming from the Cybern player sitting in the back. Maybe you have guessed too. Yeah, it's a spider bot. Oh, the kills these T2 ships have gotten. You can see they've all killed at least 3,000 mass, except this one at the back, which is perhaps a newer addition. Looks like we'll have an air fight. And it doesn't look good for Nexus. It does not look good for Nexus. And it's also fought over flak and some cruisers there. So really, not much hope for Nexus to win that fight. And these gunships are still alive. Does gunships have veterancy? Oh, he gave them to farms. No, they don't, but they were regenning because farms has regen aura. That's what I was seeing. Blodir now says quit Nexus with the yeah. That is a brutal air loss. And what does the bottom team really have left? Without air nor navy. Well, they don't really believe they have anything left to give in this one. And Nexus throws in the towel. And the top team wins. And I would say that is a strategic victory there that we saw. Naval control can't be underestimated. It really is it's a time bomb. If you don't ever get into Navy on a map like this, and the game doesn't end pretty quick, the Navy will almost always come out on top. And with the Navy coupled with Yudi's T3 air rush, the Navy was very secure. That's one possible danger of going for the Navy, is that you could just have all that mass wasted by the enemy air player perhaps torping the initial T2 Navy out of the water, and some sort of naval comeback could ensue, but the bottom team could never get rid of those units. And with both farms and Petric also making hover as well, it was very difficult, really. And you could see that just continuous grind down on the bottom team until there's basically a naval force and hover force that can't ever be defeated. So very well played. And you can see even at the end of the game, Blodir still had the extra expansion. The bottom team still had the extra expansion, but they didn't have air control and they didn't have navy, and that really is the loss right there. Finally, a T2 naval factory comes up for Blodir, but it is about 15 minutes too late. maybe 10 minutes too late at very least. So nice game from some of the absolute top players in the game. Hope you enjoyed watching. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you soon for another cast.